and as compared to
Okay, you are correct. Your perception is correct. Now, can you tell me that is why we use questionnaire in applied psychometrics?
Sir, can I answer?
Why we use questionnaire in applied psychometrics?
Sir, I think one other way to define questionnaire is because when we are saying questionnaires or any like a psychological questionnaire when we are using, so in that there is no right or wrong answers. Like for example, if we are talking about personality scales or any attitude scale, also attitude questionnaire, so in those kinds of tests there is no right or wrong answers. They are just will be typical of the participant, like whoever is answering, what is their attitude or what is their personality. So, and this also kind of answers or other question which you are asking, that why we use in these in applied psychometrics, because because we want to know about the like how that person is. So yeah, I think.
Okay, you try again. Why questionnaire is important in applied psychometric course?
Because it is applied field and we need to know means level which is there right now to have any kind of application of the concepts.
Okay, so may I ask you this question? What is the difference between psychometrics and applied psychometrics? What psychometricians are doing?
Well, we discussed this in the I think first class, the difference between psychometrics and applied psychometrics.
Yes, so what is that?
What I am remembering right now is about the concepts being used in the applied areas, which was very important in that whatever concepts we study or we understand and in psychometrics, application is very important in applied psychometrics, whereas it is not the focus in psychometrics only. And the another thing was the construction of tests to solve problems. We talked about action researches also, like action researches will be used in applied psychometrics. That's what I remember.
Yeah, Anjali, you are correct. Psychometricians mainly dealing with the test construction, test theory, okay, item analysis, this part. But applied psychometricians are applying the psychometric properties for the intervention. Their purpose is not the intervention. Their purpose mainly to develop the theory. But here the purpose is intervention. So what is the difference between theory development and intervention? Can you tell me? Shati, Nimrat, you can try.
Yeah, and sir, intervention is very current. It is to address issues Supposing we're looking at the environment and we're looking at what is impacting it negatively, that's an intervention because that comes out with strategy of how to deal with something. A theory can be, something which can be developed, but it is not in the here and now that it's necessarily applied. It can be altered, it can be changed. It's more of it's theoretical, so it's a concept that gets developed, but in the intervention, it's in the here and now. It has to practically address human issues related to society.
Yeah, correct. Shati, can you tell me something more? Swati, are you here?
Yes, sir. So it's the same point. Psychometrics is mostly only engage in development of theory, as in theory on tested reliability and test reliability norms. And applied psychometrics is, of course, the construction of a test to solve a problem, a current issue in hand.
Yeah, it is mainly the intervention. Okay. So when you administer the pro-environmental attitude, then you can observe that is the level of pro-environmental attitude. And after that, you can make some suggestion or make some intervention to improve the pro-environmental attitude. So pre and post that data, if you can collect, then you can find out the difference between the two. And during the counseling session, during the psychotherapy or the counseling session, the applied psychometrician can customize questionnaire. For example, one patient came to you with the complaints on depression. Okay. The patient is referred to you for the complaints of depression. So what are the questions he will ask her? Or the major depressive disorder?
So it will be around, when did it start? What are the symptoms? Was there any precipitating factor? What could be the social circumstances under which it may have built up? Is it chronic? Is it recent? Is the person had this in the past and what did she do? I think all that, it would be more of an investigation of the present thing and what kind of medication has she been on? Is there anything physically, any health hazard? Have there been any triggers? Has there been any loss in the family or anything that could have triggered it? So basically, it will be in the very here and now and customized to the client's age and other demographics, her education, his education. And then, of course, based on that, we can also look at parallelly some objective tools to measure the gravity of the issue, like how deep is that, like the BDI maybe can be used, or sometimes even it's tricky to know whether it's anxiety or depression that's manifesting. So yeah, there could be other tools like Rorschach and MMPI also, which one could use depending on, what is coming out of the interview.
Okay, Nimrat, thank you. I'm trying. Anjali, what is your view? if the patient came with the complaints of depression,
Yes,
one
sir.
patient referred to you.
I think more or less what Nimrat ma'am said. She covered almost everything, basically like asking them about how, like, starting with what problems they are facing, what are their major complaints, and then talking about how and when it started, and then how are they feeling, or getting in detail, as ma'am said, the precipitating factors or what could be, means basically taking the history and are trying to understand that what could have caused that condition in them. And then slowly, like, moving on in the counseling, we will work on changing their perspective, like that will come under counseling techniques. So I think more or less the same things as ma'am explained.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Shati and Barsha also joined. Shati, what is your suggestion? What will you do when the patient came to you with the
Ye-
problems of depression?
Yes, mostly about the symptoms. And
Mostly about same thing.
yes,
Do
sir.
you want to add something more?
The sleep, how are you sleeping? I think rest, I think everything
Sleep.
was almost covered.
Okay.
Sleep and
Barsha,
reflexes.
can you suggest?
Sir, is the question that what we are supposed to do if somebody with depression has...
Yeah, one patient came to you with the complaints of depression. So now what will be your question to her?
If is that patient known depression, or somebody just who has actually referred it? That would be my first thing to find out first, sir. If the referral is from some known people or family members, so those details are much reliable details which I could trust on. So seeing the conditions of, seeing the points on which the person is being brought up, the discussion.
So, okay, I understand. So you all are talking about the etiology. Okay. You are all talking about the etiology of the patient, but you are not dealing with the whether the patient is actually depression or it is the comorbidity. Okay. So what is important, that is you have clear idea about the domains of depression. Okay. So what are the domains of depression? First one is the meaninglessness. I do not find any meaning in my life. So that is the most common. Second one, learned helplessness. I have learned, that is, I am totally helpless. Nobody will come to me for any help. Number three, guilt feeling. Number four, sleep disturbance. Okay. So like that, you have to find out some of the domains. Okay. And based upon that domain, you will ask the question. Therefore, when we are writing any questionnaire, our first function will be to find out the domain of that questionnaire. Okay. So any questionnaire includes the sets of questions, and those questions may measure only one construct or the multiple constructs. If it measures only one construct, then it is called the unidimensional. And if it measures multiple constructs, then it will be called as the multi-dimension. Okay. So when we are studying the pro-environmental attitude, then we observe there are multiple domains. So pro-environmental attitude is the multi-dimensional concept. When we are studying the personality, we observe several traits. Therefore, personality is multi-dimensional. But when we study only the anxiety, when we are studying only the anxiety, for example, Spielberger's state and trait inventory, so state anxiety, only the 20 questions are there. And that measures the anxiety only. So that is the unidimension. Okay. And the construct, that is the most important part. So what is construct? Abstraction of the concept. That means if you say that this particular test is measuring personality, that means personality has some concept, and this test is measuring that concept. It is not measuring intelligence. It is measuring the personality. For example, in Cattle 16 PF, it is called the personality factor. Though there is one factor, that is the B, and this B factor is measuring intelligence. Okay. Therefore, you must be very much careful about the questionnaire, whether the questionnaire is unidimensional or the multidimensional. Okay, now when you want to design the questionnaire, then you have to think about the 4 types of measurement scales. Can anybody tell me the measurement scales?
Nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale, sir.
Yeah, correct. So nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale. Okay. Now, these 4 scales we can classify into 2 categories. One is the non-metric, another one is the metric. Okay, non-metric or categorical, that is mainly the nominal and ordinal scale. In case of the nominal and ordinal, we cannot calculate standard deviation because it is not the metric in nature. But we can calculate only the frequency, percentage. Because they are categorical in nature. Now, another type of scale, that is the interval and the ratio. These are considering the metric properties. Metric properties means 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, like that. Finally, you can reach 1. After that, 1.0, 1.2, 1.3, like that. Okay. That means you are measuring the level. When you are dealing with the metric data, so you are considering the level. But when you are dealing with the ordinal data, then you are measuring only the order or the rank. And can anybody tell me whether the Thurstone scale, it is a nominal scale or it is interval scale? Do you have any idea about the Thurstone scale? Thurstone scale, can anybody tell me? Thurstone scale is unidimensional. It measures single dimension or single construct. And the answer is yes, no type.
So would it be nominal then if it's yes, no?
Yes, no.
Yeah.
Either it will be yes or it will be no. So yes means 1, no means 0, or no means 1, yes means 0, like that. It depends upon the specific item. Okay. So that is the nominal scale.
Yes, sir.
But the Likert type scale, that is from strongly agree to strongly disagree, 5-point scale, that is the interval scale, and that is the metric scale. People sometimes are telling you that Likert type scale is the ordinal scale. There are many people, they will tell you. Sometimes in Google, you will find that is a Likert scale is ordinal scale. But that is not true. Okay. Likert scale is not the ordinal scale. It is called the quasi-interval scale. That means not fully interval scale like the temperature in thermometer. So that is the interval scale. So the minute difference that is there, but here it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you are giving a score on 5, okay, when you tick over the 5, that means you are talking about the intensity. So Likert scale is quasi-interval scale. So when I have administered you the questionnaire about pro-environmental attitude, That is the Likert type scale. From strongly agree to strongly disagree. Okay. So, and you can calculate the average, you can calculate standard deviation, you can calculate variance, etc. So that is the advantage of the interval scale. You can do any sort of analysis. And after that is the ratio scale. Ratio scale I think you have heard the name of Osgood. Professor Osgood has developed semantic differential scale. So this semantic differential scale, this is followed by the concept of ratio scale. Okay. Do you have any idea about the semantic differential scale? Have you seen?
No, sir.
No,
Two adjectives are there, bidimensional adjectives, good, bad, etc. No, you do not have any knowledge.
No, sir, not at all.
Okay. During the counseling or during the psychotherapy, if you can use customized scale. Customized scale means it is not the standard scale. It is the customized scale. So you are developing the scale to find out the intensity of the complaint. Number one, or to check how to control the intensity of the complaint. Suppose one boy came to you with the complaint of temper tantrums. Okay. Suppose one boy came to you with the complaint of temper tantrums. Then how do you design the scale? You will not administer any particular scale, any standardized scale. On the spot, you have to design the scale to find out the intensity. Do you have any idea about the temper tantrum?
Yes, sir. The behavior itself, the meaning.
Yes. What is temper tantrum?
It is basically a behavior shown by children, in which they either like they show temper tantrum in if they want something from the parents. So they will do certain behaviors which they think that after doing that, the parents will have to give them whatever they want. So, for example, a temper tantrum behavior could be throwing themselves on the floor in inappropriate places like at malls or because they want a particular toy. So,
Okay, okay. So it is the behavioral disturbance, that is true. That means too much aggression, throwing the objects nearby.
hmm,
Okay, that is the temper tantrums.
yes.
Okay, now on the spot, you have to design the scale. Then how do you design the scale?
You will have to measure the intensity, frequency of the symptoms and the maintaining factors, which are basically maintaining the behavioral disturbances. So, an informal behavioral assessment can be done. What is the intensity of the behavioral disturbances? What is the activating event followed which the behavioral disturbances are likely to be observed? And what are the maintaining factors?
Okay, so we have to follow the ABC approach.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so antecedent, behavior, and the consequence. We have to follow this thing. But when we will make a scale, that means in that scale, minimum 5 items are there. Okay. From the pre-morbid condition to the present condition. Is it clear or any question? Why I am thinking about the pre-morbid?
To know what was the norm, whether the child was normal at what time, and at what time the change of behavior has taken place.
Yeah, so that is the baseline. Okay, therefore I am considering the pre-morbid and the current state. And within this range, from pre-morbid to the current state, we have to arrange more units. Okay, for example, pre-morbid is 1 and current state is 5. Okay, current state means throwing the objects. Clear? Similarly, number 2 will be maybe the crying, or number 3, maybe some other. So you have to discuss with the informant. That is the person who will be with that means the caregiver, basically the caregiver of the patient. You can discuss with her, with the caregiver. Maybe caregiver is the mother. So you are discussing with this issue with the mother. And then, and mother will give you this information. That is, now the boy is doing the temper tantrums, but before that, how the boy cope with the different type of stress.
Sir,
So-
also one thing I would like to add is that the consistency of the behavior, whether in a particular setup, the behavior is likely to be manifested more. For example, in school setup, maybe the behavioral disturbances will be likely to be seen more, or maybe at home, or any other setup, or with peers. So consistency of behavior in all the setups, because if you see the Connors ADHD rating scale, it has parent version, teacher version. So doing both the assessments, we are likely to get a judgment. So in terms of that also we have to think.
Yeah, definitely. That means there is another item that will be the consistency. Okay. Maybe the first item related to the aggression. Second item will be the consistency. Third item may be something other than these two variables. You can think about some other variable, but everything depends upon your interview or your case history taking from the patient's caregiver. Okay. That means in the clinical situation, you can customize the scale. Okay. That is possible, particularly in case of the clinical situation and also the non-clinical situation. Now I am requesting Farah to present the slide.
So scales of measurement. Right. So this one.
Yeah, this part I have already discussed to you, but still I am reading now. What is scale? Scale means it is a continuum having some numerical values. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4 with equal intervals. So this is the numerical value we are assigning on the continuum. Scales of measurement. There are 4 measurement scales: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Nominal scale is naming scale where variables are simply named or labeled with no specific order. For example, yes may be 0, no 1, or no will be 0, yes will be 1, like that. Or if it is the gender difference, you can think about male equal to 1, female equal to 2, like that. Ordinal scale has all its variables in a specific order beyond just naming them. So in the ordinal scale, you will find the set of variables and you will be requested to order the variables with respect to your attitude. That is the ordinal scale: first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So the difference between first and second and third is not the same. Okay. So that is the part of the ordinal scale. Now in interval scale is a quantitative measurement where there is order. The difference between the limits or points is meaningful and equal. For example, temperature 5-point rating scale. For example, temperature. Interval scale is basically quasi-interval scale. Ratio scale bears all the characteristics of an interval scale. In addition to that, it can also accommodate the value of 0 on any of its variables, for example, temperature. Now, next. Next, you go to the ratio scale. Okay. Next. 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 What is the question here? Next.
The questionnaire is in a Word.
No, what is the question here?
Yes, it is in Word document, sir. Let me share the Word
Nominal scale, ordinal
Yes.
scale, questionnaire is there.
So I had one question, sir.
Yes.
So, sir, sometimes we have three questions. There are three statements given, and they give you 8 points, and they tell you distribute what you believe most to the least, and you can give 5, 2, and 1, depending on what you think is you agree most with. So, what kind of a scale would that be?
No, that is the, in case of the third stone,
Yeah.
we are maintaining that is some of the statements you have collected, and you know that these statements are related to the specific type of concept or the construct. So you are asking 30 judges to judge to what extent the item represents the construct. That is 11-point scale. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you have to find out the median value as well as the interquartile range. So,
All right.
yeah, so that is the Thurstone scale. You are
Okay.
talking about the Thurstone scale.
Yeah. Actually, Dr. Parekh, Uday Parekh uses a lot of it in his OD and HR intervention book, the instruments.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, where does this come in? And then you just have to total those actually. I do not know how he's done the statistics, and then I'll check it out. But yeah, thank you, sir.
Hmm. Okay, now you go to the attitude toward classroom.
Yes.
So this is the questionnaire. No, what is the instruction?
So this is the instruction.
Yeah, the instruction is there. This questionnaire measures your attitude to the classroom. Please answer by writing yes or no after the question. Do not hesitate to answer. Your answer will be kept in strict confidence. So I collected data from the primary school students. Okay. And these primary school students, they are not able to make any judgment between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Therefore, I have told them that is whether you have observed in your classroom or not. If it is yes, then tick yes, otherwise no. Here, primary school students is not the 1, 2, but it is 3, 4. Okay, next. So the question, for example, does your classroom get cleaned sufficiently every day? So that is the question. Second question, can you sit in your classroom comfortably? Number 3, do you face difficulty studying in your classroom during the rainy season? So this type of questions are there. And they have answered yes or no like that. So this is basically the nominal scale. Okay. And this nominal scale, we can measure with respect to the frequency. For example, are the classrooms adequately airy? So maybe 100 students are there. And out of that, 40 students say, yes, it is ARD. So 40% says it is ARD, like that. Okay. Now this is the frequency. And after that, we can score it. Okay. After that, we can score it. We can add them based upon the assumption. Next one is the ordinal scale. So that is the value survey. What is written? Cannot read.
So the instructions are this questionnaire measures what is important in your life or values. Below are the two sets of values. Each set consists 14 values in life. The values are in alphabetical order. Each value is accompanied by a short description and a blank space. Your goal is to rank each value in its order of importance to you for each of the two sets. Study each set and think of how much each value may act as a guiding principle in your life. To begin, select the value that is of most importance to you.
So you will find there is two sets are there, set 1 and set 2, and you will find the value name as well as the meaning of the value. And your function will be to rate, no?
Sir,
To
rank
rate them.
the values.
Oh, to rank, to rank them, sorry, this is the ordinal hand. To rank them, that is from 1 to 14. So there will be no paired rank. Okay. So if you think that is self-awakening, maybe you prefer most. So it will be 1. And you are thinking that is the active is least. So you are giving active as the 14, like that. So that will be the ordinal scale. And I have published several research papers on it. You can apply value scale in your research. This is the ordinal scale. And this value scale, we can use some of the statistics. For example, we can apply the median test between the two groups. We can apply the median test. We can apply the rank order correlation. We can apply Kruskal-Wallis test. So all those things we can apply if we are interested. Even we can apply cluster analysis also. That is also possible. So all those things is possible through the ordinal scale. Okay, next. Next is the interval scale. And this scale is related to the question is, I am not a warrior. I like to have a lot of people around me. So it is a 5-point rating scale. I think it is from NEO.
Yes, sir, NEO FFI.
So if you are interested to relate the NEO FFI with the pro-environmental attitude, so you can apply this scale or any other variable if you are interested to assess the personality factor, then you can relate it.
So how many questions does this have?
This is 60 questions.
Do we have a shorter version of this, sir?
Shorter version I do not have. Shorter version is available. And
Okay.
I have seen the shorter version, but my student in Delhi, they collected lot of the data, but I found the reliability is very low. Therefore, I suggested not to use that one.
Mhm. So then maybe we can think about another interval scale, but a shorter test, because 60 questions plus the in the P, that other one will become too extensive for research. I mean, we can discuss it on a different platform, but I was curious to know whether there's a shorter version of the Neo.
Yeah, shorter version is available.
Okay, but you
Shorter
say
version of Neo is available, but
not
whatever they have
reliability.
done, they are also professors in
Mm.
some management institute. They collected the large number of data because a lot of the students are available in colleges. So they collected the data, but I do not find the reliability. The internal consistency very low. I do not find. So
Okay. Maybe we'll explore a little for some other personality test.
Yeah,
then.
maybe some other factor. I don't
Yes,
know.
sir.
So this is all about the interval scale, and next is the ratio scale. This ratio scale is semantic differential scale. Can you show me the ratio scale? Yeah. No. You show me. This is the data that I collected. Yeah. This is the rating scale for evaluation of businessman on the semantic differential scale. So here you can find out the scale is from +3 to -3. +3 is good, -3 is bad. Like that, you can present the data in random order also. But in scoring, you have to take much interest. That is, what is the random? And you have to arrange the data. So this is the good, bad, fair, unfair, clean, dirty, honest, dishonest, like that. So here you have noted that is the students. I have collected the data. That is the Assam Institute of Management. I collected data from the Assam Institute of Management in Guwahati. And they are thinking that is the businessmen are very good. They fair. Again, interesting point is related to the honesty. So they are confused. Okay. So they are putting the star mark in the 0. Honest and dishonest, the median is 0. Another thing, in businessmen, they should be active. So it is their perception. Okay. So can anybody tell me that is when we can administer this semantic differential scale? What type of complaints individual has? For that reason, we can submit the semantic differential scale. When there is a confusion about the self-esteem. Okay.
Sir, do you think that it can be used for recruitment purposes?
Recruitment, that is too much. Recruitment is possible provided the judges will be the interviewers. It should not be the self-rating. But particularly for the self-esteem, if you want to find out, that is your client has some confusion about the self-esteem, then you can administer this scale. Number one. Number two, if you find out the conflict between parents and the children, then you can submit this particular scale. If you find any marital conflict, that is the husband-wife conflict, there you can present this particular scale. Okay. So why I am telling this thing? Because I am giving importance on the applied psychometrics. I am telling you that is you can customize the scale because you are applied psychometrician. So you can customize the scale. You know the psychometrics theory. Therefore, you can customize the scale on the spot. You do not have the Rorschach, you do not have the TAT, then what will you do during the counseling? Then what will you do? How do you manage? Then you can apply this scale. Okay. So this is the ratio scale. The interesting point is, here the scoring is different. When you score, then -3 will be 1, -2 will be 2, and -1 will be the 3, and 0 will be 4, 1 will be 5, 2 will be 6, and 3 plus 3 will be the 7. Okay, so higher score indicates that is your positive attitude. So when you collect the data, at that time, you will follow the ratio model. But when you will analyze the data, at that time, you have to think about, you have to transform the data, okay, to make it interval scale. Then that will be easy. Otherwise, you have to manage this -3, -2, etc. So during the counseling, particularly in counseling or psychotherapy, when you do not have any particular scale, any standardized scale, then how do you manage? Then you can manage it. Okay. So, Farah, may I conclude now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can conclude.
I think we have reached at 9. Okay.
Yes, sir, it's 9:06 now.
Okay. I think this is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I am giving some question to the Google Classroom. Please you answer.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.